Hello, and welcome to 5 for Friday for this last Friday in May before the Memorial Day weekend, May 26, 2023. For this episode of 5 for Friday, we'll look at some trends I'm seeing in the world of big business that could have some trickle-down effects on small businesses moving forward. Pay attention to the signals when you start to see trends or commonalities and think, how might this affect me and my business? In this case, we'll look at mergers, bankruptcies, trends in how we work and who is doing the work, and more big businesses investing in sustainability. Brief programming note, I will be on vacation next Friday, so no 5 for Friday next Friday, June 2nd. Feel free to rewatch this episode or any past episodes. All right, ready to get started with this week's topics? Let's get going with topic number 1, a couple M&A, merger and acquisition events. First, JP Morgan Chase is the biggest bank in the country, even more so since they just acquired First Republic Bank. This trend toward giant banks is only to the detriment of small local banks as customers start to worry that only the largest banks will be protected by the government if they fail. And Choice Hotels is interested in buying Wyndham Hotels chain, creating what would be one of the biggest budget hotel owners in the country, and another example of the flurry of M&A activity in the real estate market. M&A often indicates confidence in the market, but also disruption in the industry, which could create opportunity for small businesses when the merged firms start to relook at their vendors and partners. So pay attention to mergers and acquisitions in general. Moving on to story number 2. While M&A activity is a good sign for the economy, bankruptcies, not so much. Not only are consumers taking on more and more debt these days, but corporations are doing the same. And the rise in interest rates combined with high rates of debt sets up the perfect storm for potential bankruptcies. We're seeing many of them among retailers such as Bed Bath & Beyond and David's Bridal. And even more concerning in the long run are countries that are collapsing under a wave of debt due to loans from China that they can't repay. This will ultimately have consequences for businesses in the United States, just not as direct as U.S. firms filing for bankruptcy. So as always, keep paying attention so you can anticipate and get in front of these changes before they affect your business by impacting your customers or suppliers. And with that, let's move on to story number 3, new ways to work. During COVID, the world moved rapidly to remote work, and they're not ready to move fully back to working 5 days a week in the office. That's not a huge surprise, but more and more studies are coming out to show this fact. About 90% of women want to work remotely at least some of the time. And right now, over half of companies allow employees to work from home at least some of the week. The good news about remote work, employees like the flexibility, and apparently some alone time can aid in innovation. And apparently also stockbrokers are less likely to commit securities fraud when they're at home rather than being influenced by their peers at work. Very interesting. In other work news, AI tools both are taking over the jobs of many entry-level employees and helping to train them. But no one wants to work with a VR or AR, virtual reality or augmented reality, headset. AI is in, virtual reality in the metaverse is out. All right, moving on to story number 4, your future employees. We are seeing a lot of baby boomers starting to retire, which can be problematic as employers work to keep jobs filled. But more women are working now than ever in the past, and Black Americans are also working more and finding higher paying, more stable jobs than the past. We can expect to see more struggles filling jobs, and the solution many other countries have turned to is encouraging immigration. The U.S. isn't quite on board with that yet, but as we see more boomers retire, we might find employers starting to change their mind. Give some thought to the demographic makeup of your workforce and how that could impact the future of your business in the coming years. All right, moving on to our final story, number 5. Big business is hopping on the green bandwagon these days, which is a sign it's about time for small businesses to pay closer attention. For example, ExxonMobil, a fossil fuel company, is now getting into the business of mining for lithium, clearly showing they recognize the trend toward EVs. And car manufacturers are also investing in lithium to be sure they can continue to produce and sell EVs without any shortages of raw materials. In addition, JP Morgan Chase, remember them from story number 1, has made a decision to invest over $200 million to purchase carbon credits. Is that because they care about the environment? No, silly. It's because they want to score new business by becoming a leader in the clean energy industry. Once it becomes profitable to care about the environment, expect more and more big businesses to care, and expect you to care as well. One final bonus story about the glass cliff, which is the path that some feel new Twitter CEO Linda Yaccarino is taking. Does the data really support this idea that women are hired to CEO positions when a company's in trouble, so it's her fault when things don't turn around? No, actually, it doesn't, but I still love the term anyway. And that's it for today. Thanks for joining me for this week's 5 for Friday. If you're curious about the newsletter, which always has more details and individual stories than the video, be sure to check out my website to request a free copy or sign up to subscribe. As always, I hope you'll sign up to receive these videos directly from me or subscribe on YouTube so you can continue to hear about these signals of change that could impact your small business. Happy Friday and happy Memorial Day weekend.